Welcome to Stoic Flame channel. In the intricate tapestry of human relationships, we often encounter individuals whose presence feels less like a connection and more like a subtle, yet persistent drain on our vitality. Have you ever been around someone who, the moment they enter a room, seems to siphon your energy? Someone whose actions, however subtle, leave you questioning your worth, your reality, or even your very sanity. The truth, often unsettling, is that truly harmful, or as the sources put it, evil individuals, do not announce their nature with overt signs like horns or warning labels. Instead, they master the art of concealment, hiding behind an alluring mask of charm, intricate webs of deceit, and calculated manipulation, lurking disturbingly in plain sight. But there is a silver lining, a beacon of hope in this often confusing landscape of human interaction. By understanding the telltale signs, you can arm yourself with the knowledge needed to protect your precious energy, reclaim your inherent power, and thrive regardless of the external circumstances. Ancient Stoic philosophers, profound thinkers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, profoundly understood this dynamic. They recognized that the key to true peace and unwavering inner tranquility lies in the early recognition of harmful intentions and the steadfast commitment to one's own deeply held values. This timeless wisdom, bequeathed to us through their writings, serves as an invaluable toolkit for navigating the complexities of human relationships and standing impeccable in the face of manipulation and toxicity. This article will meticulously uncover 10 undeniable signs that someone in your life might not, in fact, have your best interests at heart. These are not mere abstract theories. They are practical, actionable insights designed to empower you to safeguard your emotional and mental well-being. If you have ever found yourself pondering why certain relationships leave you feeling utterly drained, self-doubting, or perpetually off balance, this comprehensive guide aims to provide profound clarity. Let us embark on this journey to learn how to recognize the intricate signs of toxicity, enabling you to stand tall, confident, and utterly unshakable amidst any manipulative currents. 1. Constant manipulation. Let's dive headfirst into one of the most insidious and damaging tools wielded by malicious individuals: constant manipulation. Unlike overt aggression or direct conflict, manipulation operates stealthily, beneath the surface. It is not a random act, but a meticulously calculated strategy designed to systematically erode your confidence, mercilessly exploit your vulnerabilities, and subtly bend your will to align with the manipulator's own hidden agenda. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once astutely observed, "He who has many fears also has many things to manipulate." This profound insight captures the very essence of manipulation. It thrives on and feeds off of fear, insecurity, and doubt. Manipulators flourish by creating a false sense of dependence, skillfully making you feel as though their approval, their guidance, or their validation is absolutely indispensable for you to navigate life successfully. Imagine, for instance, a seemingly supportive colleague who masterfully oscillates between showering you with praise and delivering subtle, cutting criticisms. Initially, they make you feel incredibly valued, perhaps even indispensable. You bask in their compliments, feeling truly seen and appreciated. But as time progresses, a disturbing pattern emerges. They begin to meticulously point out minor flaws in your work, exaggerating mistakes, and subtly implying that your success is entirely contingent on their help. This insidious dynamic creates a toxic cycle. You find yourself feeling both alarmingly reliant on their purported support and perpetually anxious about their judgment. This isn't just disorienting, it systematically erodes your self-confidence. The insidious tactics employed by manipulators are varied and cunning. They often engage in emotional exploitation, preying on your deepest emotions of guilt, fear, or sympathy to relentlessly control your decisions. A particularly harrowing tactic is gaslighting, where they deliberately distort the truth, making you question your own memory, perceptions, or even your sanity. The goal? To make you utterly dependent, subtly undermining your confidence until you feel incapable of acting independently. Sometimes, they feign altruism, presenting their actions as being entirely for your benefit, masterfully masking their true intent to dominate and control. Consider a stark example from the sources. A colleague initially appeared to be a valuable mentor, offering thoughtful advice and showing genuine interest in the narrator's growth, even frequently praising their efforts. Yet, a chilling shift occurred. The feedback became less constructive and more like veiled criticism. The manipulator would utter phrases such as, "I'm only pointing this out because I care about your success," while simultaneously making the narrator doubt their own abilities. When the narrator attempted to assert themselves or make independent decisions, the manipulator reacted with feigned disappointment, suggesting that the narrator was being ungrateful or reckless. This was an utterly draining experience that left the narrator second-guessing every move. This is the very hallmark of manipulation. It is not overtly hostile, but quietly corrosive. Over time, it systematically chips away at your confidence, leaving you feeling utterly stuck and disturbingly dependent on the manipulator for guidance and validation. In another vivid account, a colleague skilled at praising the narrator in front of others, making them feel recognized and valued, was simultaneously spinning subtle, undermining narratives behind the scenes, inflating minor mistakes into major issues for management. When confronted, the manipulator remained calm, claiming they were merely helping the narrator improve, leading the narrator to question themselves and doubt their own abilities. This experience highlights how manipulators exploit vulnerabilities, convince you they're the only ones who understand and can guide you, and push you into a state of dependence. Stoicism offers potent tools to protect yourself from manipulation. Epictetus taught a fundamental truth: no man is free who is not master of himself. The crucial key to liberating yourself from the shackles of manipulation lies in cultivating unwavering clarity and profound self-awareness. Trust your intuition. If something feels inherently off, do not, under any circumstances, ignore that vital gut feeling. Manipulators cunningly rely on your willingness to dismiss these critical red flags. Seek objectivity. Reflect on the situation from a neutral perspective. Are their actions genuinely helpful, or are they subtly fostering dependence? Most importantly, maintain firm boundaries. Manipulators will relentlessly push boundaries, often subtly, so it is absolutely essential to recognize and enforce them early and consistently. To reclaim your independence, practice relentless self-awareness. Regularly check in with yourself. Are your decisions truly based on your own values and goals, or are you being swayed by someone else's pervasive influence? Surround yourself with honest people. Seek out relationships built on mutual respect and genuine authenticity. The very presence of genuine connections will make it significantly easier to spot the insidious nature of manipulation. Finally, detach from the need for external validation. Manipulators thrive when you desperately seek their approval. By cultivating an unwavering confidence from within yourself, you powerfully diminish their control over you. The moment you unequivocally recognize manipulation for the destructive force that it is, you simultaneously reclaim your inherent power. Remember this profound truth: no one who genuinely cares for you will ever undermine your confidence or attempt to control you. True support actively encourages independence and profound personal growth, never fostering dependency. Manipulators, when confronted with your newfound boundaries or distance, may attempt to retaliate. They might resort to accusing you of being ungrateful, selfish, or even paranoid. Stand firm. Their reaction is not, in any way, a reflection of your worth. It is, quite simply, a powerful sign that you are successfully breaking free from their suffocating grip. As Marcus Aurelius powerfully reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Protect your peace, trust your deepest instincts, and steadfastly refuse to let manipulation dictate the very course of your life. 2. A mask of charm. Have you ever encountered an individual whose charm was so utterly captivating that it felt almost magical, as if scripted from a movie? They seem to understand you instantly, their words perfectly crafted to make you feel exceptionally special and deeply valued. But as the inexorable march of time progresses, you begin to perceive subtle, yet disturbing, cracks beneath their meticulously polished exterior. A disconcerting hint of manipulation, an underlying selfishness, or even outright deception begins to surface. This, undeniably, is the hallmark of those who wear a mask of charm. While genuine charm is a beautiful and beneficial trait that organically builds authentic connections and fosters profound trust, malicious individuals weaponize it. They employ charm not as an authentic expression of their personality, but as a calculated tool to disarm, to manipulate, and to conceal their true, often sinister, intentions. Marcus Aurelius once sagely declared, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." For these individuals, their thoughts are often far from pure. Their charm is merely a carefully constructed facade, expertly hiding profoundly selfish motives. Take a moment to truly consider someone in your life who perpetually seems to say just the right thing, who delivers the perfect compliment, or who effortlessly lights up every room they enter. They might initially appear to be the epitome of an ideal friend, a perfect partner, or even a trusted mentor. However, if you observe them with meticulous closeness, you will begin to notice that their charm is disturbingly inconsistent with their actions. Ask yourself a critical question: how do they genuinely treat people who can offer them absolutely nothing in return? Are they still as kind, as attentive, and as effusively complimentary when no one is watching, when there is no perceived benefit to them? A compelling example from the sources illustrates this chilling reality. I once had a colleague who was the epitome of charm. He would profusely shower coworkers with praise, making everyone feel like they were his closest confidants. Yet, over time, a disturbing pattern began to emerge. His compliments, seemingly genuine, often came with concealed strings attached, perhaps a hidden favor he expected in return, a recommendation he covertly sought, or even an alibi for his questionable, often unethical, actions. And chillingly, when someone had nothing more to offer him, he would abruptly turn cold or distant, often resorting to badmouthing those he had so recently flattered. In another powerful account, the narrator once knew a friend who had an uncanny ability to make everyone feel adored. This friend showered people with compliments, making them believe they were genuinely special to him. But the narrator later realized that his praise felt calculated, serving as a tool to extract something in return. And, mirroring the previous example, when there was nothing left to gain, he quickly distanced himself, often badmouthing the same people he once flattered. To effectively spot this treacherous mask, pay meticulous attention to inconsistencies in their behavior. Observe how they act toward individuals who are not useful to them. Remember, authentic kindness is never selective. Also, pay heed to subtle red flags. If their charm feels overtly rehearsed, somehow unnatural, or leaves you with an unsettling, lingering sense of unease, trust that gut instinct. As Stoicism profoundly teaches us, judge people by their deeds, not their words. True authenticity requires no constant validation, it simply is. To effectively counter the intoxicating charm of manipulative individuals, you must ground yourself firmly in self-awareness. Stoic philosophy constantly reminds us to vigilantly focus on what we can genuinely control, our perceptions and our actions. Do not, under any circumstances, allow flattery or superficial charisma to cloud your judgment. Instead, courageously look deeper into their true intentions and the consistency or lack thereof of their character. Genuine charm does not seek to exploit or control. It sincerely uplifts and authentically connects. When you encounter someone whose charm appears literally too good to be true, pause. Observe. Seek the profound truth beneath the glittering, deceptive surface. For, as the Stoics wisely and unequivocally remind us, the truth doesn't need a mask, it shines through in every action. Genuine kindness shines on its own, without pretense. So, step past the glittering surface and courageously seek the truth beneath. 3. Lies without conscience. Imagine, if you will, finding yourself hopelessly entangled in an intricate web of half-truths and insidious fabrications, expertly spun by someone who lies not just occasionally, but effortlessly. These lies are far from careless exaggerations. They are, in fact, deliberate, calculated acts specifically designed to manipulate, to deceive, and to relentlessly erode your fundamental trust in reality itself. For truly malicious individuals, lying is not merely a slip of character. It is, chillingly, a pervasive way of life. Marcus Aurelius once advised, nothing should be done if it isn't right, and nothing should be said if it isn't true. Yet, for these individuals, the very concept of truth is an inconvenient impediment, a frustrating hurdle to their relentlessly self-serving goals. What makes their deceit so utterly insidious is its meticulously calculated nature. They craft their lies with chilling precision, wielding them as potent weapons to evade personal responsibility, to aggressively gain control, or to subtly distort your perception of events until it aligns with their narrative. Think about someone you know who exhibits a persistent pattern of bending the truth. Their stories never quite add up, do they? Details mysteriously shift under the slightest scrutiny, and their excuses conveniently absolve them of any blame whatsoever. One telling example from the sources describes a colleague who consistently embellished her achievements to gain credibility. She would speak of single-handedly leading critical projects, painting herself as indispensable. But upon deeper investigation, it was discovered that her actual involvement was minimal at best. When confronted with the glaring discrepancies, she didn't admit fault. Instead, she deflected, vehemently accused the accuser of misunderstanding, and cunningly shifted the conversation to completely unrelated topics, leaving the accuser profoundly questioning their own judgment. Another vivid account describes a friend who consistently weaves elaborate tales to gain credibility. She once convinced the narrator she single-handedly managed a critical project. But upon closer inspection, every document and email reviewed proved otherwise. When confronted, she, too, accused the narrator of misunderstanding the situation, deflecting attention to unrelated details. This is the chilling modus operandi of expert liars. They mercilessly exploit your uncertainty, skillfully making you doubt your own memory, your own perceptions, and even your own grip on reality. They painstakingly weave their lies into intricate narratives that demand constant, exhausting maintenance. But here lies their fatal weakness: lies are inherently fragile. While truth stands firm, and yielding and requiring no justification, lies are perpetually at risk of unraveling. To effectively identify their lies, pay meticulous attention to inconsistencies. Do the details in their stories mysteriously change when questioned? Observe their patterns of deflection and evasion. When directly confronted, do they answer straightforwardly, or do they cunningly shift the focus away from themselves? Crucially, look for mismatched actions and words. Do their behaviors truly align with their claims? In safeguarding yourself, Stoic philosophy teaches us to profoundly value honesty and integrity as the very cornerstones of a truly virtuous life. When dealing with habitual liars, it is absolutely crucial to stay firmly anchored in reality. Observe their actions far more than their deceptive words, and trust your own observations over their explanations and fabrications. Set clear, non-negotiable boundaries with those who lie without conscience. Do not, under any circumstances, allow their deceit to pull you into their chaotic, reality-distorting games. Epictetus powerfully reminds us, no man is free who is not master of himself. By resolutely refusing to participate in their manipulative games, you powerfully reclaim control over your own mind and your own crucial decisions. Remember, honesty requires no disguise. The next time you encounter someone who consistently bends the truth, choose to stand firm in your unwavering values and courageously walk away if it becomes necessary. Truth will always, inevitably, outlast deception. If you're still watching, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe before we jump into the next section. It really motivates us to keep making more videos. Let's move on. 4. The pleasure of pain. One of the most profoundly chilling traits of a truly malicious person is their unsettling, even perverse, satisfaction derived from the pain or misfortune of others. It's not mere indifference, it is a deliberate delight, a twisted joy extracted from someone else's struggles or failures. While most people instinctively feel empathy when witnessing suffering, these individuals experience the precise opposite. They might smirk when others stumble, they often thrive on chaos, and they subtly or sometimes overtly contribute to the very turmoil they then seem to relish. Epictetus wisely advised, associate with those who make you better. But malicious individuals are fundamentally uninterested in your growth, your upliftment, or your well-being. Instead, they revel in degradation, finding a twisted sense of power in diminishing others. This behavior is not only inherently toxic, but it is deeply damaging to your emotional well-being. Their sadistic tendencies often begin subtly, seemingly harmless jokes at someone else's expense, sarcastic remarks that cut far deeper than they should, or a subtle, almost imperceptible grin when things don't go your way. At first glance, these actions might appear trivial, easily dismissed as mere coincidences or awkward humor. But over time, a distinct and disturbing pattern emerges. Their behavior is not driven by genuine humor or accidental occurrence. It is a calculated, deliberate attempt to undermine others, all to inflate their own fragile sense of superiority. A poignant example from the sources highlights this disturbing trait. I once had a colleague who, under the guise of camaraderie, found subtle ways to highlight people's failures. If someone missed a deadline or received criticism, he was chillingly the first to gossip about it, often exaggerating the situation to make it seem worse than it was. What genuinely disturbed the narrator most was his demeanor and almost gleeful enthusiasm when discussing the hardships of others. His behavior was unequivocally not about concern or constructive feedback. It was entirely about feeding his own inflated ego by systematically belittling others. In another chilling account, a friend reveled in sharing the missteps of others with a strange enthusiasm. She chuckled when a coworker was publicly reprimanded in the office. This wasn't indifference, it became clear over time that this was her way of feeling powerful. Instead of offering support, she magnified others' struggles to make herself appear superior. This perverse craving for power through the pain of others reveals a fundamental, tragic truth about such individuals: they are profoundly insecure. Their self-worth is so agonizingly fragile that they can only elevate themselves by systematically tearing others down. It is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a display of strength. It is, rather, a profound weakness masquerading as superiority. To accurately recognize this pleasure of pain, look for specific behaviors. One key sign is mocking or minimizing struggles. They make light of your challenges or openly laugh at your missteps. Another is excessive gossip and exaggeration. They eagerly spread rumors about others' failures, not out of concern, but to amplify their own distorted sense of control. Be wary of subtle sabotage. They may intentionally set others up for failure, purely to derive joy from the subsequent fallout. Stoic wisdom offers crucial protection. Seneca once articulated, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity." For malicious individuals, the adversity of others grotesquely becomes a twisted form of entertainment. Stoic philosophy profoundly urges us to guard against such people by nurturing relationships that are robustly built on mutual respect, genuine support, and authentic connection. When you notice someone consistently and disturbingly enjoying the misfortune of others, the most prudent course of action is to distance yourself. These behaviors are corrosive, systematically eroding your peace and self-worth over time. Instead, proactively surround yourself with individuals who uplift you, those who genuinely celebrate your successes, and who will steadfastly stand by you in difficult times. If you suspect someone in your life takes pleasure in your pain or the struggles of others, there are concrete actions you can take. If it is safe and appropriate, confront their behavior. Often, shining a bright light on toxic behavior can diminish its insidious power. Set clear boundaries. Limit your interactions and fiercely protect your energy from their draining influence. Most importantly, choose empathetic relationships. Invest your invaluable energy in connections with people who genuinely care about your well-being. Remember, malicious individuals feed on the chaos they meticulously create. By resolutely refusing to engage, you effectively starve their desperate need for power. Stoicism unequivocally teaches us that our peace of mind is far too valuable to be perpetually disrupted by those who thrive on negativity. True strength emanates from choosing kindness, profound empathy, and unwavering integrity over cruelty and manipulation. Stand firm in your unwavering values, and let the inherent strength of your character serve as an impenetrable shield against those who find joy in the suffering of others. When you fiercely protect your peace, you effectively rob them of their warped power. 5. Blame games and deflection. When something goes wrong, most people, in a moment of genuine introspection, take a pause to reflect, accept their share of responsibility, and thoughtfully consider how best to make things right. But for malicious individuals, accountability is a foreign concept, an alien notion they simply do not comprehend or adhere to. Instead, they engage in a relentless, exhausting game of deflection, masterfully shifting blame, twisting narratives, and meticulously ensuring that nothing, absolutely nothing, ever truly sticks to them. To them, the truth is not something to be confronted or embraced. It is, rather, a malleable thing to be skillfully manipulated. Seneca astutely observed, "The truth stands firm without justification, while lies always require elaborate stories to sustain them." This profound wisdom highlights the very essence of blame games. Lies demand layer upon layer of deceit to maintain their precarious facade, whereas truth remains refreshingly straightforward and unburdened. Manipulative individuals cunningly rely on this inherent complexity to create widespread confusion, sow seeds of paralyzing doubt, and ultimately, ingeniously avoid culpability. Consider the intricate anatomy of a blame game. Imagine collaborating on a team project with someone who, with chilling consistency, always manages to find an escape route from their own mistakes. If a deadline is missed, they will instantly point fingers at others, vehemently claiming poor communication or inadequate support. And when their own errors become undeniably obvious, they will fabricate elaborate excuses or subtly twist the narrative to portray themselves as innocent victims of circumstance. A powerful illustration from the sources: I once worked with someone like this, a colleague who consistently avoided accountability. During a crucial presentation, she failed to deliver her part on time. Instead of owning up to her oversight, she subtly implied that the narrator hadn't reminded her about the deadline. Initially, her approach seemed innocent, even somewhat reasonable. But over time, a disturbing pattern became undeniably clear. She never admitted fault, always had an excuse, and frequently redirected blame to others. This was not about forgetfulness or occasional oversight. It was a meticulously calculated strategy to systematically avoid responsibility and ruthlessly shift the burden onto others. Another account details a close friend with whom the narrator worked on an important project. When things went south, instead of owning up, she was quick to criticize the narrator's organizational approach, leaving the narrator questioning if they were the problem. This was done with a subtle tone, as if offering constructive feedback, yet it was manipulation to shift the burden of every error. Blame games are insidious because they don't merely deflect accountability, they relentlessly undermine trust. Being repeatedly blamed or manipulated into carrying someone else's burden leaves you profoundly questioning your own reality, eroding your confidence, and severely draining your precious energy. To effectively recognize blame games, look for key indicators. A primary sign is chronic victimhood. These individuals consistently cast themselves as innocent victims in every single scenario, regardless of how much evidence directly contradicts their claims. They also frequently employ emotional manipulation. They skillfully use guilt or pity to deflect attention away from their own glaring mistakes. And, as always, watch for inconsistencies. Their stories mysteriously shift under scrutiny, often leading to more profound confusion than clarity. Stoic strategies for dealing with deflection are invaluable. Marcus Aurelius wisely taught us to focus on facts, not emotions, when evaluating the actions of others. His timeless advice: if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. By staying firmly grounded in objective truth and unwavering logic, you can powerfully protect yourself from being ensnared in someone else's convoluted web of deceit. Here's how to counter blame games effectively: stay objective, stick rigorously to facts, and adamantly avoid being drawn into draining emotional debates. Ask for clarity. Politely but firmly request specific details. For instance, you might ask, "Can you clarify how this was my responsibility?" Set boundaries. Limit your involvement with individuals who consistently refuse to take any responsibility for their actions. The importance of integrity in this context cannot be overstated. When you resolutely refuse to engage in blame games, you simultaneously uphold your own profound integrity. It is undeniably tempting to fight fire with fire, but Stoicism teaches us that maintaining our values is far more important than exhaustively trying to prove someone wrong. Instead of getting entangled in their distorted narrative, simply let your own actions speak volumes for themselves. Over time, their consistent pattern of deflection will become undeniably evident to others, while your consistent honesty and unwavering accountability will powerfully stand out. To protect your peace, remember that malicious individuals thrive on confusion and doubt. When you resolutely refuse to participate in their games, you fundamentally disrupt their entire strategy. Proactively surround yourself with people who genuinely value truth and mutual respect, and wisely invest your precious energy in relationships that actively build you up rather than relentlessly tear you down. Blame games may feel incredibly frustrating in the moment, but they are ultimately powerless against someone who is firmly grounded in self-awareness and unwavering integrity. Stand firm in your truth, and do not let anyone's manipulation shake your profound sense of self. 6. Lack of empathy. Empathy is the very cornerstone of meaningful relationships. It is the profound human capacity that allows us to connect deeply, to understand intimately, and to genuinely share in the joys and struggles of others. Without it, human interaction chillingly devolves into a cold, transactional exchange, utterly devoid of genuine care or warmth. For truly malicious individuals, empathy is not a trait they value or practice. In fact, it is perceived as a significant obstacle to their relentlessly self-serving goals. Seneca observed, "We are born to live for each other." This profound statement highlights the natural human tendency toward connection and cooperation. But for individuals who starkly lack empathy, this fundamental principle is utterly foreign. They view others not as equals to genuinely engage with, but chillingly, as mere tools to be used, or as inconvenient obstacles to be ruthlessly overcome. Empathy inherently requires vulnerability, the willingness to step into someone else's unique experience and genuinely feel their emotions. However, malicious individuals often perceive vulnerability as a profound weakness. They are either completely incapable of, or utterly unwilling to, extend genuine care unless it directly and tangibly benefits them. The chilling absence of empathy isn't always immediately obvious. These individuals are often adept at masking their indifference with superficial concern or calculated gestures that serve their own ends. Over time, however, their true, cold nature inevitably emerges through consistent patterns of behavior. Look for these telling signs: deflection of vulnerability. When you courageously share your struggles, they quickly shift the conversation back to themselves, making it about their own experiences, or dismiss your feelings altogether, making them seem trivial. Mocking or minimizing pain, they audaciously downplay your hardships or treat them as insignificant, often leaving you feeling deeply invalidated and unheard. Schadenfreude, they take silent, perverse pleasure in your failures or struggles, using these moments to boost their own distorted sense of superiority. A personal experience from the sources vividly illustrates this chilling indifference. I once confided in someone I considered a friend about a challenging period in my life. Instead of offering support or genuine understanding, they responded with a dismissive laugh and retorted, "You think that's bad? Let me tell you about what I'm dealing with." The conversation then quickly devolved into a one-sided monologue about their own problems, leaving the narrator feeling utterly unheard and insignificant. This was not a one-off incident. Over time, a clear pattern emerged. Whenever I tried to open up, they would either dismiss my feelings or subtly belittle them. It became painfully clear that they were not genuinely interested in connecting. They were only interested in perpetually maintaining their own narrative of self-importance. The Stoic perspective on empathy is clear. Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, "No more arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." True character is undeniably demonstrated through actions, not mere words. A profound lack of empathy reveals a fundamental hollowness in one's soul, an unsettling unwillingness to engage with the shared human experience. Stoicism actively encourages us to surround ourselves with individuals who genuinely uplift, support, and respect us. While it is essential to practice compassion towards others, it is equally vital to protect ourselves fiercely from those who drain our energy and relentlessly erode our sense of self-worth. To effectively handle a lack of empathy in others, take practical steps. Set emotional boundaries. If someone consistently invalidates your feelings, wisely limit the depth of personal information you choose to share with them. Seek reciprocal relationships. Invest your precious energy in relationships where empathy and genuine care are truly mutual, given and received. Don't internalize their indifference. Their lack of empathy is not, in any way, a reflection of your worth. It is, quite simply, a severe limitation in their character. To reclaim your peace, pause and reflect. When someone dismisses your emotions, take a step back and objectively evaluate the relationship. Are they consistently indifferent, or was this a momentary lapse? If it feels safe and appropriate, communicate your needs. Sometimes, people are genuinely unaware of the impact of their actions. Most importantly, surround yourself with supportive people. Build a robust network of individuals who genuinely care about your well-being and are willing to share in both your struggles and your triumphs. The absence of empathy in others serves as a powerful reminder of its profound importance in our own lives. While it can be disheartening to encounter such cold indifference, it also serves as a potent call to embody empathy ourselves. Treat others with the same compassion and understanding you wish to receive, but never, ever at the expense of your own crucial mental and emotional well-being. Moving forward, when confronted with someone who lacks empathy, remember Marcus Aurelius's words, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Choose to be the person who listens attentively, supports genuinely, and uplifts wholeheartedly. Protect your energy, seek out meaningful connections, and never allow another's indifference to diminish your own boundless capacity for care and kindness. 7. The hunger for control. Control is a natural human desire. It provides a sense of security, stability, and predictability in an often chaotic world. But for malicious individuals, control isn't about balance or order. It's about absolute dominance. They relentlessly crave power over others, not to guide or to support, but to manipulate, subjugate, and to keep them firmly in their grasp. Their hunger for control knows no discernible bounds, and it is a defining, pervasive feature of their deeply toxic behavior. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "Your mind is your own. Relinquish it to no one." This profound statement underscores the critical importance of mental autonomy, something malicious individuals seek relentlessly to strip away from you. For them, control over your thoughts, your decisions, and your emotions is the ultimate, coveted prize. This control isn't always overt, loud, or immediately obvious. While some individuals indeed exert it through brute force or blatant intimidation, others wield far more subtle tactics to relentlessly dominate your life. These subtle tactics include undermining confidence. They meticulously plant insidious seeds of self-doubt, skillfully making you question your own abilities and your deepest instincts. Creating dependency, they ingeniously position themselves as utterly indispensable, cunningly convincing you that you absolutely need their guidance or their approval to succeed in anything you do. Emotional manipulation, they skillfully use guilt, fear, or even flattery to expertly steer your choices, meticulously ensuring that their needs consistently come first. A compelling personal encounter from the sources brings this to life. I once had a colleague who seemed genuinely supportive. Their advice consistently appeared thoughtful, and they deftly positioned themselves as a mentor. However, over time, a deeply troubling pattern emerged. They began inserting subtle doubts about the narrator's decisions, subtly suggesting the narrator wasn't ready to take on challenges without their input. One day, when the narrator expressed interest in leading an important project, the colleague gently, yet firmly, discouraged them, saying, "I'm not sure this is the right time for you. Let me handle it, and you can observe." Initially, the narrator complied, genuinely believing their guidance was in their best interest. But as similar instances relentlessly piled up, it became painfully clear that they weren't supporting the narrator's growth at all. They were meticulously ensuring the narrator remained perpetually beneath them. People who hunger for control often expertly disguise their true intentions under the benign guise of concern or genuine care. Their ultimate, overarching goal is to keep you perpetually reliant on them, effectively stifling your independence to maintain their suffocating power. Here are key, undeniable signs to vigilantly watch for: micromanagement. They insist on meticulously overseeing every minute detail of your life or work, leaving no room for your autonomy. Guilt-tripping. They skillfully make you feel selfish or ungrateful for daring to assert your own autonomy. Fear-mongering. They brazenly exaggerate potential risks or create baseless anxieties to actively discourage you from making any independent decisions. The Stoic approach to freedom offers liberation. Epictetus powerfully reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. And this profound freedom, he taught, begins squarely in the mind. A person who genuinely controls their own thoughts and actions cannot, by definition, be dominated by others. Stoicism teaches us to unequivocally recognize when someone is encroaching upon our sacred autonomy and to courageously reclaim our power with unwavering clarity and resilient determination. To effectively break free from controlling individuals, take these vital steps. Rebuild your confidence. The absolute first step to regaining control is to unequivocally trust your own judgment. Reflect on past successes and courageously remind yourself of your inherent capabilities. Set boundaries firmly, yet calmly. Communicate your limits. Let them know you value their input, but unequivocally state that you are fully capable of making your own decisions. Seek independent validation. When faced with doubts cunningly planted by controlling individuals, proactively seek advice from unbiased, trustworthy sources to confirm your own perspective. Practical steps to fiercely protect your autonomy include asking reflective questions. When someone discourages you, ask yourself, does this truly align with my values? Am I making this choice out of fear or out of genuine confidence? Build a strong support network. Surround yourself with people who genuinely empower and uplift you, never those who seek to dominate or control. Finally, practice mental fortitude. Engage in practices like journaling or mindfulness to powerfully reinforce your sense of self and clarify your intentions. The power of autonomy is immense. Marcus Aurelius profoundly wrote, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." This powerfully emphasizes the critical importance of guarding your mental space with utmost vigilance. A person who genuinely values you will never seek to control you. Instead, they will actively encourage your growth and wholeheartedly celebrate your profound independence. Moving forward, to protect yourself from controlling individuals, always remember your inherent worth and your sacred right to autonomy. As Stoicism teaches us, your mind is your sanctuary. Do not allow anyone to plant doubt or fear within it. Recognize the insatiable hunger for control, stand firm in your truth, and courageously reclaim your freedom, because it belongs irrevocably to you and to no one else. If you're still watching, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe before we jump into the next section. It really motivates us to keep making more videos. Let's move on. 8. Isolation as a weapon. Isolation is one of the most insidious tools in a manipulator's arsenal. Malicious individuals acutely understand that true strength often emanates from connection, whether it be family, friends, or a supportive community. To gain overwhelming control and systematically weaken your resolve, they employ calculated strategies to expertly separate you from those who provide crucial emotional support and grounding. The subtle art of isolation is a masterclass in psychological warfare. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "We are born for cooperation, like feet, hands, and eyes, like the 2 rows of teeth." Humans are, by their very nature, inherently social creatures, and malicious individuals ruthlessly exploit this fundamental truth by isolating you to systematically undermine your strength. Their tactics are rarely obvious. Instead, they operate deceptively under the guise of concern or misguided guidance. Here's how they cunningly weaponize isolation. Sowing doubt, they make subtle, negative comments about people close to you, meticulously causing you to question their genuine intentions. Creating dependence, they skillfully present themselves as your only truly reliable source of support, slowly but surely pulling you away from all others. Fueling conflicts, they deviously plant seeds of discord, actively encouraging arguments and painful misunderstandings that drive deep, lasting wedges between you and your cherished loved ones. A chilling personal encounter from the sources vividly illustrates this tactic. "I once had a friend who initially seemed deeply invested in my well-being. She would frequently utter phrases like, 'I'm only telling you this because I care about you,' before insidiously pointing out perceived flaws in the narrator's other relationships. Comments such as, 'Your best friend seems a bit jealous of you,' or 'Your family doesn't truly understand you the way I do,' slowly but surely took root in the narrator's mind. Over time, the narrator found themselves tragically distancing from those who had always been their strongest allies. What the narrator tragically didn't realize was that her intentions were far from genuine. By isolating the narrator, she was strategically positioning herself as their sole confidant, making it significantly easier for her to influence their decisions and ruthlessly control their emotions. This tactic is no mere accident. It's a deliberate psychological maneuver expertly employed by toxic individuals to sow profound insecurity and cunningly make you believe that they are the only ones who genuinely care. The more isolated you become, the greater their suffocating control over you relentlessly grows. But here's what they desperately don't want you to realize: true strength emanates from connection, from genuine and solid relationships. Unity is the very foundation of resilience. If you begin to notice unsettling feelings of loneliness or an inexplicable detachment from your loved ones, pause and courageously reflect. Reevaluate the entire situation. Trust your deepest instincts, and do not hesitate to reach out to those who genuinely matter to you. Speak to friends, family, and close confidants. They are the bedrock that keeps you firmly grounded, even when life feels profoundly unstable. The Stoic defense against isolation is powerful. Epictetus teaches, "Man is not an island entire of itself." This wisdom powerfully reminds us of the paramount importance of maintaining robust connections with those who genuinely uplift and support us. While self-sufficiency is undoubtedly valuable, community is fundamentally essential for resilience and profound growth. To effectively rebuild connections, take these proactive steps. Evaluate the source, courageously reflect on who has encouraged distance between you and your loved ones. Are their intentions truly aligned with your best interests? Reestablish bonds, proactively reach out to those you've distanced from. Acknowledge misunderstandings, if any, and commit to the hard work of rebuilding trust. Strengthen your support network. Deliberately surround yourself with people who unequivocally respect your autonomy and actively encourage your profound growth. Practical steps to combat isolation include communicating openly with loved ones. Share your deepest feelings and experiences with those you trust to gain crucial perspective and unwavering support. Recognize manipulative patterns. When someone consistently questions your relationships, ask yourself why they feel the need to do so. Finally, reconnect with your community. Join groups, actively participate in shared activities, or simply spend quality time with old friends to restore your profound sense of belonging. True strength lies intrinsically in connection. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, a branch cut away from its tree cannot survive alone. The same profound truth applies to us. We thrive through genuine connection and shared experiences. Malicious individuals profoundly fear these connections because they inherently empower you, making it exponentially harder for them to exert control. Moving forward, if you suspect someone is isolating you, take immediate, decisive action to reconnect with your vital support system. Isolation thrives in silence, but the unbreakable bonds of genuine relationships are infinitely stronger than any manipulator's scheme. Trust your instincts, actively seek out those who truly care for you, and always remember that community is your impenetrable fortress against manipulation. 9. Jealousy in disguise. Jealousy is, in its raw form, a toxic emotion, but its most dangerous and insidious manifestation occurs when it cunningly hides behind a deceptive mask of concern or apparent goodwill. The jealous individual often artfully positions themselves as a supportive ally, all the while subtly, yet persistently, chipping away at your inherent confidence and your hard-earned achievements. As Seneca wisely observed, envy is the ulcer of the soul. These individuals are consumed by their own deep-seated insecurities, rendered utterly incapable of genuinely celebrating your successes because those very triumphs serve only to highlight what they themselves profoundly lack. The subtle art of undermining is a key characteristic of jealousy in disguise. It rarely presents itself in obvious, confrontational ways. Instead, it stealthily sneaks into your life through backhanded compliments, praise that is invariably tinged with thinly veiled criticism. For example, they might say, "That's a great idea, though I wonder if it's too ambitious for you." They offer unsolicited advice, suggestions meticulously designed to make you second-guess your own decisions or to diminish your accomplishments. They engage in cunning comparison games, making comments that draw unflattering parallels between you and someone else, solely to make you feel inferior, such as, "You did well, but I heard someone else achieved even more." A poignant personal encounter from the sources illuminates this insidious behavior. I once had a colleague who seemed genuinely supportive, always asking about my projects, praising my ideas, and offering advice. But as time inexorably went on, their words began to carry a subtly different and settling tone. After the narrator completed a significant project they were incredibly proud of, their feedback included the cutting remark, "That's impressive, but maybe next time you should aim for something more innovative." At first, the narrator dismissed it as mere constructive criticism. But the pattern quickly became painfully clear. Every achievement was met with a subtle remark designed to diminish its value. Over time, the narrator chillingly realized that their advice wasn't genuinely intended to help them grow. It was, in fact, an insidious attempt to make them doubt themselves, ensuring that their own light wouldn't outshine theirs. Another similar example describes a friend who seemed deeply invested in the narrator's achievements. After a major project, she said, "That's great, but maybe next time you should push yourself a bit more to really reach a higher standard." The narrator reflected that this tone carried an undertone, a subtle cut not to lift me up but to diminish what I'd accomplished. These false compliments are often mixed with remarks that undermine. They plant small doubts in your mind, making you question your capabilities and success. They might say, "You did really well, but don't get too excited. There's always room for improvement," or "That's amazing, but I heard someone else did something similar and got even better results." This behavior is neither care nor goodwill. It's a strategy to pull you down to their level. How does jealousy in disguise truly operate? Jealous individuals often feel profoundly threatened by your success or your happiness. Instead of resorting to outright confrontation, which would expose their true feelings, they choose subtle manipulation. They specialize in sowing self-doubt, planting small, nagging doubts in your mind about your abilities or your crucial decisions. They are masters of undermining confidence. Their remarks, while subtle, are meticulously designed to make you question your inherent worth or the validity of your success. And they cunningly engage in feigning concern, artfully disguising their deep-seated jealousy as genuine care, framing their critiques as ostensibly helpful suggestions. Envious individuals cannot celebrate your light because it highlights the shadows within themselves. They don't want to see you thrive. They want to see you shrink so they no longer feel threatened. The Stoic approach to jealousy offers a path to freedom. Stoic philosophy teaches us to courageously focus on our own unique path, rather than being swayed by the opinions or deep-seated insecurities of others. Epictetus reminds us, we cannot control the actions of others, but we can control how we react to them. Recognizing jealousy for the destructive force that it is, an expression of their insecurity, not a genuine reflection of your worth, is the crucial first step to powerfully protecting yourself. To effectively defend against jealousy, take these vital steps. Trust your intuition. If someone's compliments or advice somehow make you feel uneasy, pay meticulous attention to that gut feeling. Evaluate their motives, thoughtfully consider whether their feedback is genuinely constructive and benevolent, or if it is clouded by their own deep-seated envy. Set clear boundaries. Do not, under any circumstances, allow their words to dictate your emotions or your crucial decisions. Practical steps to fiercely protect yourself include separating fact from opinion. When someone critiques you, honestly assess whether their feedback truly holds merit or if it is unmistakably clouded by jealousy. Seek trusted perspectives. Share your experiences with someone who unequivocally has your best interests at heart for a balanced, objective perspective. Most importantly, reaffirm your value. Consistently remind yourself of your numerous achievements and your profound strengths, and never, ever let anyone diminish your inherent confidence. The power of self-validation is your ultimate shield. A jealous person's overarching goal is to make you relentlessly doubt your worth. By consistently fostering profound self-validation, you powerfully shield yourself from their attempts to subtly undermine you. Marcus Aurelius advises, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Keep your thoughts vigilantly focused on your own remarkable growth and your own genuine achievements, not on their deep-seated insecurities. Moving forward, remember that true allies will celebrate your successes without reservation. Proactively surround yourself with people who genuinely lift you up and sincerely encourage your profound progress. Remember, your light is meant to shine brightly, and you absolutely do not need to dim it to make others feel more comfortable or less threatened. Stand firm in your unwavering value, and let your light shine brilliantly. 10. The Unrepentant Heart. One of the most profoundly revealing signs of a truly harmful individual is their utter unwillingness to acknowledge or amend their wrongs. A person characterized by an unrepentant heart clings fiercely to their destructive behaviors, vehemently refuses to take any accountability whatsoever, and actively avoids making any reparations for the demonstrable harm they cause. As Marcus Aurelius taught, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Yet, for these individuals, the very concepts of self-improvement and genuine introspection are utterly alien and unwelcome. The hallmarks of an unrepentant heart are strikingly consistent. An unrepentant individual consistently displays pervasive patterns of denial and deflection. They engage in relentless blame shifting, cunningly redirecting responsibility for their actions onto others or onto convenient external circumstances, meticulously making it seem as though they are never, ever at fault. Rather than offering sincere apologies, they construct elaborate excuses, justifying their behavior with convoluted explanations meticulously designed to absolve themselves of any culpability. Most strikingly, they exhibit a profound refusal to grow. They perceive no genuine need to reflect on their actions or to change their destructive ways. Instead, they view self-improvement as a profound weakness, clinging to their stubbornness as a twisted sign of strength. A vivid personal encounter from the sources illustrates this chilling unrepentance. I once worked with someone who consistently made mistakes that impacted the team. Each time their actions were addressed, they would immediately deflect the blame, uttering phrases like, "It wasn't my fault. I wasn't given clear instructions." When their errors became undeniably obvious, they would pivot to justifying their actions, stating, "It didn't turn out well, but at least I tried something new." Even when their behavior caused significant, demonstrable harm, they never apologized or sought to make things right. Instead, they chillingly acted as though their refusal to admit fault was a sign of strength. Over time, it became painfully clear that they lacked the crucial self-awareness and humility necessary for any genuine growth. Another similar account describes someone you've known, a person who always had an excuse for every mistake. When they hurt others, instead of apologizing, they'd blame the circumstances or argue that others are no better. When confronted, they'd deflect, shift blame, or even accuse the other person of overreacting. Their most striking trait was their complete refusal to change, viewing stubbornness as strength and self-reflection as weakness. The Stoic perspective on accountability sharply contrasts with this mindset. Stoic philosophy profoundly emphasizes the paramount importance of self-reflection and taking full responsibility for our actions. As Seneca sagely wrote, "It is the power of a great mind to disregard its own missteps, but only after it has corrected them." Owning our mistakes and relentlessly striving to improve is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a weakness. It is a powerful testament to our true strength and unwavering character. An unrepentant heart, by stark contrast, completely rejects this vital growth. These individuals cling fiercely to their inflated ego, stubbornly refusing to acknowledge any fault out of a profound fear that it might diminish their distorted sense of power or control. To effectively protect yourself from individuals with an unrepentant heart, take these crucial steps. Recognize the patterns, meticulously take note if someone consistently avoids accountability, endlessly justifies their harmful actions, or repeatedly fails to make amends. Set boundaries. Wisely limit your exposure to their pervasive toxicity by rigorously maintaining firm emotional and physical boundaries. Avoid the trap of justification. Do not waste your precious energy trying to coerce them into admitting their wrongs. They often tragically lack the inherent capacity or willingness to do so. The power of walking away is immense. You simply cannot force someone to grow or to reflect if they are fundamentally unwilling to do so. Instead, focus relentlessly on your own core values and your own crucial well-being. Marcus Aurelius wisely advises, focus on what is within your control and let go of what is not. If someone's unrepentance is demonstrably causing harm in your life, the wisest and most compassionate course of action for yourself may well be to distance yourself from them. Practical steps for moving forward are vital. Surround yourself with accountability. Proactively foster relationships with individuals who courageously own their mistakes and genuinely value growth. Practice forgiveness, not excusal. Forgive their actions for your own peace of mind, but emphatically do not excuse their behavior or allow it to continue adversely affecting you. Reinforce your own values. Use their destructive actions as a powerful reminder to uphold unwavering integrity in your own life. Embrace growth. Avoid stagnation. While unrepentant individuals remain tragically stuck in their harmful patterns, you possess the profound power to rise above. Let their behavior serve as a cautionary lesson in what not to emulate. Cultivate self-awareness, take full responsibility for your own actions, and relentlessly strive to improve. In doing so, you honor the profound Stoic principle of living in alignment with virtue. So, guarding your peace with awareness and wisdom. As we conclude this profound exploration of the 10 undeniable signs of harmful individuals, remember that awareness is, unequivocally, your first and most potent line of defense. By recognizing these pervasive traits, you powerfully empower yourself to set non-negotiable boundaries, fiercely protect your inner peace, and consciously live a life profoundly free from toxic influences. In navigating the intricate labyrinth of life, we will inevitably encounter individuals whose very presence drains our vitality, manipulates our emotions, or violently disrupts our precious peace. Recognizing the subtle, yet potent, signs of toxicity, be it manipulation, charm masking malice, or the chilling indifference of an unrepentant heart, equips us with the indispensable tools to safeguard our well-being and steadfastly remain true to our core values. These behaviors are not mere inconveniences. They are genuine threats to the serenity and autonomy that fundamentally define a truly fulfilling life. The Stoics consistently remind us that true strength lies not in attempting to control others, which is an external and ultimately futile endeavor, but in mastering our own minds and our own responses. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. Toxic individuals may thrive on the chaos they meticulously create in others. But when you arm yourself with unwavering self-awareness, impenetrable boundaries, and resilient determination, you become, effectively, impervious to their corrosive influence. The power of actionable wisdom is immense. Life is not about trying to avoid every challenge or every negative influence. It is, rather, about learning how to courageously face them with unwavering clarity and profound purpose. When you successfully identify toxic traits in others, you are fundamentally empowered to make intentional, conscious choices, set boundaries that fiercely protect your emotional and mental space. Align yourself with individuals who genuinely uplift and wholeheartedly support your growth. Cultivate inner strength, an unshakable fortitude that allows you to resolutely refuse to let negativity shape your cherished reality. The timeless teachings of Stoicism courageously encourage us to focus relentlessly on what we can truly control. While we are inherently unable to change the deeply ingrained behavior of malicious individuals, we possess the absolute power to control how we respond to them and, crucially, how much access we allow them to our lives and our inner sanctity. Ask yourself a vital question: am I guarding my peace with the vigilance it deserves? If the answer, upon honest reflection, is no, then it is a profound opportunity to take the wisdom shared here and boldly put it into action. Recognize the signs, trust your deepest instincts, and do not hesitate to courageously step away from relationships that consistently do more harm than good. As Marcus Aurelius so wisely advised, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Proactively surround yourself with individuals and immerse yourself in situations that genuinely nurture positivity, unwavering integrity, and profound growth. You owe it to yourself to meticulously create a life that authentically reflects your highest values and deepest aspirations. Stay vigilant, stay wise, and most importantly, stay true to yourself. If this video speaks to you, don't forget to subscribe now and click the playlist on your screen to unlock the treasure trove of stories, strategies, and Stoic wisdom. Let's level up together. Fuel your ambition, fortify your mind, and join me next time as we rise above all limits.